Good evening from Dubai, and today, as I promised, gonna talk about boundaries and the definition of boundaries. We'll talk about physical boundaries to illustrate more on the intangible, invisible boundaries, our soul boundaries. To define the boundaries and to have the big picture of the boundaries, we are going to see an object, which is a house, a property, and that are fenced and with determined boundaries by the city or by the authority in where it is located. So our properties which we have to take care of are always marked with fences to define our responsibility, our legal responsibilities on those properties, and to separate our property from our neighbor's property. In this way, we can know where lies our properties and where our ownership is to come. So we see all our houses, all our properties have fences and they are visible to everybody. We can hang on them stop signs, no trespassing, and in some instances, some properties are watched by either dog or surveillance, and we know that this is the property of someone who owns it. No outside owners can come or claim responsibility for it. It's your own responsibility of everything inside this property. You see, and in our houses, these properties where our boundaries are laid front, back, on the sides, and we have gates for them. We are permitting people to come in or to go out. When someone invades our property, we call 911 and we say, stop, there is a burglary comes in. So we have to take responsibility and take care of this property. Our personalities in the spiritual world, let me say, and in the emotional world, also we have boundaries. Those what we set, those what define our soul, define the love we have to ourselves and to others. Those intangible properties are the most important thing for a person to have them, to have ownership of himself, to have his self-esteem set, to have his self-worth, and to have his confidence and his respect. So let's now go back to our object, to our property, and start defining more, going more deep in details about what makes these boundaries and how we can protect them. So you see, when you have treasure inside your house, you're gonna keep it somewhere. You're gonna put it in a box, fire-rated box or whatever, just to keep it away from invaders, from away from children, and to protect it and to take care of it. So you also limit, within the limits, you have limits. Okay, you take care of it. So you always arranging even your property in files, like in, or let me say, in containers or in files, and whatever, you put them somewhere on the side to protect what? To protect your ownership of the property, which is defined already by the government, by the city, by yourself, okay? And you are taking ownership of it. Now, on the intangible and invisible boundaries, how you define that? There are parameters which you've been taught by your parents, despite it's correct or wrong, but there are parameters defined by your parents or by your teachers in school while you are children, while you are still kid. You start behaving like what parents teaching you, what your teachers teaching you, and by modeling others, you start setting these boundaries that no one can invade them, no one can even take them out of you except with your permission. So it's similar to your house. You don't permit anyone to come in, and here also you don't permit anyone to take the ownership or control your behavior, control your emotions. As you control your property, also your soul is your property. You're gonna control it. Let me more go into details again, diving in. Suppose someone asking you to guard his property. Just he asks you, please, Mark, go and guard my property because I'm leaving for 2, 3 days. He doesn't tell you and leaves, and he doesn't tell you where the boundaries are. He doesn't give you any tools or means to guard this property. You find yourself in a confusing situation where you don't know what to guard, and it's dangerous. If somebody comes, attacks this property, you don't know what you are protecting. It's similarly in the spiritual world, in your emotional world. However, the world is designed, God has designed the world in a beautiful way that you have the ownership of your soul, of your body, and to love yourself and to protect yourself from any attacks, any invaders, any bad behaviors, or from anyone wants to control your life. So here we are defining or taking ownership of ourselves. Now, my people say this is selfishness if you're gonna go for loving yourself and setting limits for this and that. No, it's not. You have responsibility to others, not for others, and you have responsibility for yourself. So you have responsibility to others and for yourself. In this way, you can protect yourself and protect others from themselves. Now, here is a bit confusing subject for some, not for everybody. I will just illustrate more on the subject. So we've been always taught by our parents, by our society, that we must take care of our neighbors, we must take care of our relationships, our relatives, our parents, our uh, everyone around us. It's true, we got to take care of people, but the first thing is to take care of yourself, so to enable you to take care of others. I'll give you one example. If you've been flying from one place to another and you just on board a plane, what the first thing on the plane they give you? What kind of instructions? Safety instructions. And what they do, they tell you if if we lack of oxygen, there's a mask gonna drop out from the top. So first help yourself, then help others. Because why they do that? Because if you didn't help yourself, you don't get any oxygen. You cannot help others. So that's why love yourself, then you love others. Many people, and I have noticed now because I'm really researching this subject very closely, many people cannot say no. I know word no is a confrontational word and it sometimes causes some people trouble, but it is very dangerous if you hold it back and you keep always say yes, yes, yes. That gets you in a habit to please others, to start looking for love and approval from other people. So now you gave the permission for people to control you. And you have no right to control others. So no one also have the response the permission to control you. Please make sure always that your invisible boundaries, which no one can see them with their eyes, but they can feel them with your words. It's okay to say no. It's advisable to say no. It's good to confront people sometimes because that's what will make yourself respectful with others, being authentic. You tell the truth. In this way, you're not gonna resist and you won't have any resentment inside you that I have done this over my will. No, it's not over your will. You have permitted those guys or those people to control you. If you confront people in the right way, in the right time, you will gain their respect and you will feel more confident. You won't feel anger. You won't feel frustrated. You won't feel hurt because all these emotions are generated because of you haven't set your boundaries and you haven't told and informed these boundaries to others. You have to be clear about them. You have to be bold in saying no and in the right way. Now, when we say, I'll go back to responsibilities to yourself and to others. We've been instructed, as I said, always by our society, by our parents, that we have to take care of people and we have always to look after our neighbors and look after the whole community around us. Why our parents do tell us to do that? Because we have a responsibility toward our community in a way when we see people are overloaded with their problems, with their emotions, and with their life. It's good. This is what exactly I'm talking about, that it is a responsibility to others. you're gonna help them because you have the skills. They don't have the skills. You see, if your property, your house have water leak from top, from your roof, and it's really leaking badly, you won't be able to do that except if you have the right skills to go and just repair the roof and do what is necessary, replace the rooftop and or everything. If you can't, you just need to hire a professional to do that. It's same thing with emotional and with your responsibility to others. There are people who are unable to protect themselves or to carry their load by themselves. They don't have the right skills. That's why you have to step in and to help them. Similarly, yourself, if you don't have the skills and you don't have the ability to do your boundaries, to set your boundaries, to set limits in your life, you have to hire a professional who can help you and can assist you to set these boundaries. It's a must to enable you to have a free life. You see, again, intangible boundaries are those that gives you the freedom in life because you will know where you end, where someone else starts. This knowledge of where you end, where someone else starts, give you freedom because you will know. Here I'm responsible, here what I'm gonna take care of, and the other person has to take care of his property, his lines, his limits. I don't cross them, they don't cross mine. Now, always, as we said, in your properties at home, objects, you have gates, you have locks. Why? To keep them guarded so no invaders, no one can bring bad things and put it in your property, and you have to take your garbage out, your bad stuff out, and get some stuff in. Similarly, in your personality, in your life, in your thoughts, in your mind, many of us have bad thoughts, bad talks, negative thinking, all of this stuff. You have to take it out and bring the good stuff in. I hear really very good uh, example from Tony Robbins that his teacher Jim Rohn told him, you got to be, you got to set guard on the gates of your mind. He said, you see, if you are drinking a coffee with no sugar and some of your enemies comes and puts in your coffee sugar, what it would be? It would be a sweet coffee which you don't like it. What if a friend comes and put strychnine, a poison? A friend by mistake, it's not intentionally. What would happen? That I will die. So that's what exactly happens. Many of us don't give attention to the bad stuff that comes from very close friends or from bad relationships, relatives, community, teachers, parents, that we don't even know that it's bad until we get in trouble and we get it bad. We got to guard our soul, our minds, so we don't get in these troubles. That's why setting boundaries is very important. That's why you can take control of your life, of your personality. You can feel confident. You can be authentic and assertive in what you want to do. This is my message for today. I will continue the same subject in our next event. Have a nice day. Enjoy your night. Love you all.